If you get in trouble, bring it home to me.
I call this little talk, it started with Mary. The reason was the first ever recorded sound which Thomas Edison did onto his phonograph was Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. So when you go to school tomorrow, you can say to people, do you know what the first ever recorded sound was? Mary had a little lamb.
One girl had blisters through the sun, her shoulders looked so tight. Now she's got another blister somewhere else too, sitting on the sands all night. A policeman shines his lamp on you, then chuckles with delight. For the rest of the week you find the whole damn force sitting on the sands all night.
How did people listen to music when you were a child?
The wireless radio, you would call it now, wouldn't you? But the radio. And my sister is older than me, she's 81. She would always have Radio Luxembourg on. They had all more popular music there. It's poor reception, but nearly all youngsters listened to but Radio Luxembourg.
They were just coming out then, about 62, 63 they started. But I didn't actually go up. I know people who went and said, just a waste of time. Couldn't hear them because all the girls were screaming.
I did like the Beatles, and I think when they came to the Ritz, I went to see them. I think about 1966 they came to the Ritz, and I did go to see them. I just started quoting with my wife then.
Well, on the radio, I said we had the electric gramophone. We had those. There wasn't on the programs on the radio. There wasn't many music programs. We used to listen, to a program called Radio Luxembourg on Sunday nights, and they played the top 20. The only problem was it was being broadcast from Luxembourg, and you'd be listening to it, and the signal, not like it is now, would fade. You'd hear it and it would just fade off, and you're always trying to just tune it back in again. Now that was the only time we could hear the top 20, except if we went into a coffee bar where they had these things. You know what those are? Jukeboxes. So you go to a coffee bar. I mean, we weren't old enough to go into a pub then. I'm jumping back now to the when I was like 15, 16. So you go into a coffee bar around Wigan, just have a coffee and sit in, and I think you put a sixpence in or whatever it was, pick a record and it'd come on. I think if you put a shilling in, which was 5p, you could get 3 records. But you sat there, you were just hoping that other people had put records on and you could listen to their records, but it was a bit of a downer if nobody had any money. You were just sat there with no music.
And of course we got a lot of the main acts from Wigan, from around the world. We had Buddy Holly, and they had the Beatles at the Ritz Cinema, 1950s. I've forgotten his name, he came from an American singer. And it was only 4 shillings to go in and see him at the Empress Ballroom. That was the ballroom before it became the casino, and they had the all-nighters there, but that was after my time.
Can you describe the styles of music or bands you listen to?
Well, yeah, all the popular music, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Beach Boys, all the top groups. I mean, some people just had their favourite group, but I just like them. I can't say I had a favourite group. I just like the music played by all the groups. And you was asking me before about where do we go. Well, you can see we had all the groups coming to Wigan. 65, which I was 20. I was 20 then. 64, sorry. So this was when they came to Wigan in 1964. That's the newspaper cutting.
Later on, music-wise, in the sort of 80s and 90s, the dance scene came up and the rave thing came up, and I was involved with that, and the Hacienda in Manchester. They were great clubs to go to. And that started off what we have now, the dance culture of now. And I was sort of going to those places. Then it was great, you know, I always managed to know somebody, or somebody would get me in, or if I was a bit too young and things like that. And I always wanted to see what was happening, what was coming up next, and it was great. And the festivals now are just, what is going on? And Bickershaw Festival, as I said before, in 1973, God, it was terrible, you know, but it was then. And now you guys go to all these fantastic festivals. I go to one or two. My favourite is Creamfields. I love that. I love dance music and all that kind of stuff, you know. You know, so, hey, I want to carry on living and keep moving with the music.
I like a lot of types of music. I'm very Catholic in that distinction. I like classical. I like something that's nice, waltzes, specialised things, various others from the shows, hymns, lots of things. It's the attraction. It's what you think about while you're listening. Brings back memories.
All these here you can see, these are posters of all the groups. Gene Pitney, I liked him. Lulu, you heard of Lulu? Sid and Eddie, Little and Large, have you heard of those comedians? They were on Rocking Bell. They were all the local, and they've all been. Where were these on? These were on at. I think. Where were they on? I think they were on at the casino. Yeah, I like the Everly Brothers and I like the Beach Boys, but when I was about 18, we used to go to a club near to me. It was called the Sportsman's Club. It's now a car. It was a cinema at one time. It was a cinema called the Carlton Cinema, and then they opened us the Carlton Club, and then it became the Sportsman's Club. Do you know Pemberton at all? Do you ever go? You know where Halfway House is? Do you know where Carnegie Library is? You go up to Pemberton, the road splits up like that. Yeah, that's one way, then you come back down the other way. There's a big library facing you. Well, if you go to the left there, it's like a carpet warehouse. That used to be the Sportsman's Club. I used to go there twice a week. That was like, they had groups on. I think it was Sundays, Thursdays and Sundays.
There were some bands going, like local bands, you know. I was always a listener rather than a player. My brother could play the piano well. I couldn't. I always wish I could play the piano, but for my own amusement. I prefer it that way. I'd like it that way because it'd be a bit more romantic, you see. Especially with playing it to a girl. See if you could woo her the right way. I had to use other means.